All right. Click the done there. Peaceful greetings to ye all. Peaceful greetings, peaceful greetings. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey here in Morocco at Northwest Mexico. How are you? Guys, welcome to, our Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report. Let me make sure I put this on. I'm getting chilly already. I was a little toasty. I took this off. And I'm like, you know what? Let me put it back on now. I sat here and cooled off for a bit. One of my brothers he's like, man, look, we're going to keep each other accountable. We're going to do these exercises or whatever. So we're doing like these 100 push-up challenges or whatever. So I was like, all right, get my little 100 push-ups while still in my character, Started out, I think I got 25 complete. I'm going to make sure I get my other 75 done before the day is out or whatever. Right? Just kind of fun, And as far as like maintaining and getting back to and maintaining, being in shape or whatever. And then, playing basketball. I think we're supposed to hoop today. It looks like it might be a little rainy soon or later. But anyhowser. So, party people. Let me see if I put this back on here. No wonder that screw fell out the other day. So, footing that covers it came off too. All right. So, how are we? We're here for our part of our 7-day Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report, right? We already went over, I kind of doubled up on the 30th and the 31st, all on the 31st. I know there's been a couple of transits that have actually passed by already for the first, and I will discuss them briefly. There's 2 more to go. One's coming up, Luna's sextile in Venus. But Luna has already sextiled Jupiter and Pluto, right? And Luna, ultimately when I saw those, I was like, okay, so there's a growth opportunity in the home as well as transformation in the home. And when we were in our TUPAC meeting that we just concluded, right? The Universally Professional Astrology Community meeting for our astrology concept correction. What I actually realized, I was like, you know what? That's interesting that, one of the members was like, yeah, man, I'm rearranging furniture and stuff. And now I see the transits. I'm like, wow, that's, coming off of that lunar sextile Jupiter, lunar sextile Pluto energy, right? So let's just actually kind of look at the calendar real quick so you guys see what we're going over today. And right now, we are within the moon cycle that we're continuing, closing out the air sign Gemini, the twins, anciently and contemporarily ruled by Mercury. And we also have this same month, right? Moon cycle, month, right? For the water sign Cancer, the crab, right? And that's anciently and contemporarily ruled by Luna, all right? And so we're looking at the first, right, June 2024, as well as the second, all righty? So we're looking at Saturday and Sunday. So to just kind of briefly go into it, right, we're looking at, and I'll just kind of give testimony now because I won't be showing any charts for those first 2 transits, right, since they've already passed. However, let's discuss it. And it was just interesting. Like I said, one of our members had discussed that they were, arranging, the furniture in their home. And I'm like, now that I look at this calendar, I'm like, bro, that is so lunar sextile Jupiter, lunar sextile Pluto energy, especially if you're tuned in now, bro. Like, that's amazing, right? To actually see that transpire like that. As we see, Luna is continuing its transit in Aries, right under the 1 for June 1st, right? We see that Luna is still transiting Aries, as well as sunrise today was at approximately 0500 hours, 47 minutes. And sunset will take place at just about 23 minutes approximately after 2000 hours. So we see at approximately 0100 hours, 57 minutes, Luna was sextile Jupiter. And we use just basic keywords: moon, home, sextile, opportunity, Jupiter, expansion, right, or growth. So this was an opportunity to expand the home. And maybe that home expansion or really maximizing the space within one's home could have been done, especially manifesting just about 44 minutes later after that transit. We see at 0200 hours, 41 minutes, Luna sextile and Pluto there. All right. And if we looked at, again, home, opportunity, and Pluto being transformation, if we just wanted to use some very quick keywording, right, we know that there's multiple keywords that we can synonymously use for the celestial bodies as well as the aspects in between those celestial bodies. However, just ultimately, you know, and to see that, look, today's full of sextiles, guys, right? Just 60-degree aspects happening today. Luna, and Luna is involved in all of them, all righty? And it's very interesting, too, because I know, you know, next day, Sunday, Luna will be in its last of its 8 phases, right? It's in a disseminating phase. Next day, I'll be able to bring that up on the other screen very shortly, just to kind of show you the lunar phases of the moon as it goes from conjunction to semi-square to square to reflection, which is termed opposition. Well, actually, conjunction, semi-square, square, sesquiquadrate, right, which is 135 degrees, because in Latin, the term sesqui means 1.5, which is 1.5. Right? So 1.5 squares would be 90 plus 45, which is 135, right? So from the moon going from conjunction with the sun, and then 45 degrees from the sun, then 90 degrees from the sun, then 135 degrees, which is sesquiquadrate from the sun, then 180 degrees, which is the reflection, popularly called the opposition, and then it reverses. It goes back into a sesquiquadrate as it goes towards its next new moon phase after the full moon phase at 180 degrees, goes into the sesquiquadrate, and then it goes into from sesquiquadrate to back to square, and then from the square goes into the semi-square and then to its conjunction, and that's your 8 phases pertaining to the moon. All right, so that's what I see. That's just very interesting that the moon's making its last sextile, so to speak, right? And we all know that sextile is the same as dividing the circle into 6 parts, right? And when you divide a circle into 6 parts, at 360 divided by 6 gets you 60 degrees for each part. And that's what all these sextiles that are happening today. Luna's 60 degrees from Jupiter at 1:57 this morning, then 60 degrees from Pluto in aspect 2:41 this morning. And coming up 15 minutes after 1800 hours, which is approximately 6:15 post-meridian Eastern, Luna and Venus will be with an aspect of one another 60 degrees. And then we see the solar lunar sextile taking place about 35 minutes after 1900 hours. So that's about an hour and 20 minutes after that lunar Venusian sextile. All right. So I will be going in on the lunar Venusian sextile as well as the solar lunar sextile. Also, I will be bringing that up as a chart. However, has your energy today been surrounded around you making expansions and transformations in the home? Have you been throwing things out? As I told you, one of our beloved members within TUPAC was had said, and it's interesting because I'm going to mention to him if he's not looking at this right now. If you are here, bro, that's great. But if he's not, I'm like, bro, you said you were rearranging furniture. That is so, you know, the energy pertaining to just collectively speaking, lunar sextile Jupiter and sextile in Pluto. Even though I'm sure that these transits are taking place in areas in his own actual foundational genethliacal figure termed the natal chart, that we can see that it's played out specifically the way it has within his own experience for today, so to speak. However, and that's how it works, right, for everyone. And if you want to actually know what that is and actually pinpoint it and be able to better chart and navigate yourselves on the earth plane accordingly, schedule the Mirror AstroLiteracy session with Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey. You will not be disappointed. You guys already know the number. I think I realized the number wasn't in the description like I thought it was, but I put it in the last video. So the Google Voice number will also be in this description when I'm complete and go to edit the description after this live. As well as you guys know, you can also reach out to me by DM via Instagram. But the Google Voice number is put out there for you to either text and or call, all righty? And schedule your Mirror Astro Literacy session, right? Giving you my number, but don't hit me on no dumb shit. I'm just saying. So anyway, with that being said, let's get into what we're going to see on the 2nd on Sunday. All righty. So here we go for the 2nd. We see Luna is continuing its transit in Aries. However, for the first transit that we see for the second, Luna is making a conjunction to Mars at about 3 minutes after 1800 hours. This is well after the sunrise, which takes place approximately 0500 hours, 46 minutes, and sunset is approximately 23 minutes after 2000 hours for the second. And what we're actually seeing, then Luna's going to be void of course after making that conjunction to Mars. Luna is going to be void of course, meaning it's making no other aspect to any other planet while finishing up its transit in Aries. Then it will egress Aries after about 7 hours and 52 minutes, and then it will ingress Taurus on the 3rd. So I will go on that Taurus ingress next day, which is Sunday, when I go to discuss the 3rd, where we have a lunar ingress into Taurus, a Mercury ingress into Gemini. Hey, Mercury is going to be dominant, guys, on the 3rd, about 36 minutes after 0300 hours. And then we see a lunar Plutonian quartile, right? Lunar square Pluto, right? Moon square Pluto taking place there also. All right. So this is what we'll be getting into. And you guys know that when we get to that moon void of course, I'm going to remind you now, and I'll remind you when we get to it, when I give testimony on it, that moon void of course is buyer's remorse. Make no major transactions during that 7 hour and 52 minute time frame. Make no major decisions or major transactions, because you will regret it 9 times out of 10. And if you ever wanted to, you're feeling froggy and you want to leap and see, like, let me really see what happens if I did, grab something during the moon void of course, you may find that there may be some type of part of the experience in obtaining what it is that you would like to obtain. It may be unfavorable. However, with that also being said, it could possibly not affect you at all, actually. However, the best thing is to actually just respect the energy of the fact that the moon not influencing anything. That doesn't mean it couldn't be influencing something in your own genethliacal figure, your own tropic genethliacal figure, your natal chart, all right? So even though the moon may be void of course, maybe it will be still aspecting something in your actual natal chart. So maybe you can still go to do something according to the energies of the moon aspecting some celestial body within your natal chart. However, just keep in mind that, Luna will be void of course from about 1800 hours and 3 minutes until about 55 minutes after 0100 hours on the 3rd. So it's from the 2nd to the 3rd. And then also, we know that the Ekadashi TT is today, guys. The Ekadashi begins 35 minutes after 1900 hours. I think I can share screen on that now also. So you see what we're going to go over in a second is Luna conjunct Mars. Jupiter is going to trine Pluto 12 minutes after 2000 hours. And Mercury and Neptune are having a sextile. So the Mercurial Neptunian sextile taking place 57 minutes after 2300 hours, or just 3 minutes before 0100 hours. All right. So let's go to Procarula, right, and look at our TT calendar, right, and let's set it for Baltimore, right? We're in the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic, and we're looking at June. And you guys see, the Krishna Paksha Dashami is over at 1900 hours, 35 minutes, and that's when the Ekadashi TT fast starts. What's the significance of the Ekadash ETT, right? Because Ekadash means the 11th, so it's the 11th set of 12-degree transit that the moon is making. So after the full moon that has recently taken place, we are now embarking upon the 11th set of 12-degree motion for the moon, which is known as the Ekadashi Tithi, right? Tithi. So the Ekadashi Tithi, as we can see, is happening. If you guys look at where it says the first in gray, I know it says 24 in the yellow, and that's going according to the lunar calendar, right? For near what is called India, contemporarily speaking. You know, anciently is Sindh, right? And after Sindh, some people recognize it as Hindustan, but Sindh is for the river that's actually running through near that land, which is where Sindh is, where they've derived and transposed some letters to say Hindu, right? Because Sindh is Sindhu, right? However, near Sindh is that lunar calendar there where it says the 24th pertaining to that. But we know if we look to the left-hand corner where it says Saturday, and it's right-hand corner where it says Saturday, but within that left-hand corner of that box, right, where it says 1 for June 1st, the Krishna Dashami will be complete at about 1900 hours, 35 minutes Eastern. So that's 7:35 post meridian Eastern when we begin Ekadashi within Mina. Mina is and that will be sidereal Pisces. That's Mina, right? So that is sidereal Pisces. Mina is the Sanskrit for Pisces, right? And then Ekadashi Titi will be over on the 2nd at 1700 hours, 11 minutes. All right. 1700 hours, 11 minutes, which is 5:11 post meridian Eastern. All righty. And that's when the Dwarashi begins, right? And Dwarash is 12, right? In Sanskrit. Or some will even say it's in Hindi, or some will say Tamil, right? I'm pretty sure the enunciations are the same, even if the transliterated spellings may be a little different. However, Mina is still where, so Ekadashi is completely all happening in Mina, or the sidereal Pisces, all right? While seeming to transit, of course, the tropic sign Aries, right? So with that being said, guys, Ekadashi, eat no grain during Ekadashi. Eat no grain, guys. So no wheat, no rice, whatever is a grain, whatever it seems to maybe rob you of water, but the practice is grain, right? No oats. So that even means if you got a favorite oat milk ice cream, that would be considered as you eating grain. And it's not for dogmatic purposes, like you're, following dogma. I would say religion, but true religion is astrology and cosmology. So I can't even call it religion as much as dogma. Dogma is where you have these belief systems that can really border, if not be exactly the same as superstition. Here, scientifically speaking, when we're talking, kind of like Ayurvedically speaking, which is like medical astrology, right? So like astrophysiology, so to speak. What happens is during the Ekadashi Titis, this is when your body needs the water that it does to be able to process a certain way. And that's what I've learned from looking at what people may call different religions. What I'm actually seeing is comprehension of prior astrologers prior to me that have recognized and comprehended the interactions pertaining to as above, so below. So when the moon is in its 11th 12-degree set of transit, either from the Shukla, within the Shukla Paksha, that means after the new moon, or during the Krishna Paksha, which means after the full moon, during that 11th 12-degree set, the body really needs its water during the Ekadashi Titi. So thus abstaining from grain during the Ekadashi. So we usually observe, I and my loved ones, we observe the Ekadashi fast. And you will see the results. Go and eat some grain during Ekadashi, and you'll try to figure out why some things went haywire, as far as in your life within maybe 72 hours after you consume that grain during Ekadashi. However, if you observe Ekadashi and abstain from grain, within 72 hours, you'll actually realize that there's something that takes place that you couldn't even plan for it to happen that way, how beautiful it has transpired. And I'm not saying that even that may can come off like superstition, but what I'm saying is what you have allowed yourself to do within your own body is not to be robbed of the water within oneself, all right? And what you have allowed yourself to actually do is allow your energy to not be consumed unnecessarily, all right? Mother Sahar says, peaceful greetings, Brother Hasan, and everyone in the chat. Peaceful greetings to our beloved mother, in whom are well pleased, Mother Sahar. Brother Tyro says, peace and love, everyone. C. Thomas says, Islam to you, good brother. And the Art of Life says, greetings, peaceful greetings to you, also to y'all in the chat. Gratitude for your interaction. So that's my monologue as far as the calendar is concerned, both what transits we're going to look at and the Ekadashi Titi. Do your best to observe the Ekadashi Titi and abstain from eating grain from 7:35 post-meridian Eastern to on the 1st until 5:11 post-meridian Eastern on the 2nd. All righty, and adjust your time zones accordingly, right? And observe the Ekadashi TT. You'll thank yourself later, I promise. All right, you'll see something manifest like, man, look, I actually stayed away from the rice, some oats, you know what I mean? You might even find yourself, well, dang, man, I just got something from the market. Let me read this. Ah, shit, it's got rice, flour in it, or oat milk in it. It's like, ugh. All right, let me wait till after 5:11 post meridian Eastern tomorrow, which that would be Central. That would be 4:11, right? Pacific. It'll be 2:11 Pacific, right? So that's how that goes, right? So with that being said, let me actually stop the screen share here, and let's start our screen share over yonder. All right, and begin going over our charting. All right, so let me shareth the screeneth. Man, it's my little guy. 9 times out of 10, he wants something that it's like, no, you can't have that. All right. All right. We should be sharing a screen. It should generate for you guys pretty soon. At least it should have. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. I think we're looking good. All righty. We are sharing the screen now for the chart. And like I told you guys, we're going to start at the lunar Venusian sextile here. All right, that's where we're going to start from, since that's the transits that we're seeing that is going to take place approximately in another 3 hours and 12 minutes. All righty, and that's what I will start from. All righty, as far as the transits left for the 1st June 2024. All right, so let's get started. So as we see, Luna's here at 11 degrees Aries, 9 minutes within the 5th house. And we see Venus 11 degrees Gemini, 9 minutes within the 7th. Venus has accidental dignity in the 7th house, of course, doing pretty good there in the 7th, while actually ruling over the 7th too, because Taurus is there on the descendant, on the 7th house cusp. So Venus is actually ruling over that also. And remember, how we look at this in the most beautiful way is like the celestial body is the actor, the sign is the script, and the house is the stage upon which it is performing. All right. So same for Luna, acting out an Aryan script while on the 5th house stage. And these houses being 3 houses away from each other just lets me know that there is a opportunity to really creatively communicate to our relatives and our loved ones, right? This is also a means for us to maybe go out on a date, right? Maybe even if you're not going out on a date, maybe find a way to care for your loved one. Maybe you're giving a pedicure. Maybe you're making sure you're serving them. I myself, personally speaking, I enjoy, taking care of, and we take care of our hair here because, we all have locks. And so, I know for me, I will be, after this, live, I will be finished, doing the maintenance on my beloved Mother Mistress Consort's locks, right? And continuing that, right? So that energy is very strong. Also, when it comes to fine foods, this might be a way you may treat yourself. You may find yourself even like, I might, order out some type of like vegan treat or whatever, right? Something that has a bit of an exotic appeal to it, or some type of fine food that you normally don't get, but you like, I'm going to treat myself today and enjoy it. And you will be enjoying that with your loved one. Actually, that's what I see there. Luna sextile Venus can also be a means to really secure your possessions, an opportunity to secure your possessions. So you may find yourself making arrangements of where you have certain things. Maybe you have a new jewelry box and you are now putting your jewelry in this new jewelry box. Maybe you're thankful and grateful that you've ordered a safe and now it showed up, and now you're putting all your valuables and other possessions that you would like to be kept safe in the safe. All right. So that's more of that lunar sextile Venus energy. And even when it comes to, maybe children and how you're relating to them, this would be a great time to really communicate some serious ideals that will make some sudden changes in their life, especially when you're recognizing that they're interacting with other children. Because again, this is 11 degrees where it's taking place, 11 degrees being in harmony with Aquarius, as well as in harmony with the 11th house. 11th house is like other people's children. And it's very interesting, even looking at the 11th house, we know Mercury is ruling the 11th, and Jupiter and Neptune are ruling the 5th. And Jupiter, interestingly, in the 7th, right, with Venus, while under Venus's dispositorship. Neptune is here in the 5th with Luna. So it just really finds a way for us to really expand our relationships by instituting a certain level of creativity and being able to communicate the importance, right, in us, finding a way to, have a healthy exchange, and then that healthy exchange with our little ones will further give them the tools necessary for when they interact with their peers. All righty. So that is an energy I also see that is happening with the lunar sextile Venus that's taking place again from our perspective here near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic at 1800 hours, 15 minutes, and 1 second. Next, we have a solar lunar sextile that's taking place, alrighty, for the first. And let's see, that's taking, it was about approximately an hour and 20 minutes after that, still for the 1st June 2024 at 1900 hours, 34 minutes, and 47 seconds. To be exact, Luna is here at 11 degrees, 57 minutes. However, and it's in Aries. However, it's in the 4th now, right? And the sun, of course, is there in the 7th. All righty. Very interestingly, Gemini is on the 7th house cusp, which we know is ruled by Mercury here, 27 degrees, Taurus, 24 minutes, while in the 6th house. Very interesting. Mercury finds a bit of accidental dignity there in the 6th house itself, all righty, while ruling over the 7th here. So that means that the sun and Luna in aspect, with Jupiter and Neptune. And interestingly, it looks like it's funny though. Even though Mercury's in the 6th, it's under the dispositorship of Venus, and so is Jupiter. So that's interesting that the final dispositors are Mercury, Venus, Mercury and Venus, actually. Mercury and Venus are the final dispositors. So how this energy is going to work out in them being 1, 2, 3, 4 houses apart, where the moon and sun is within this tropical regiomontanous chart. This just really lets me know there's an underlying energy pertaining to maybe there's a hidden treasure that will be unveiled. Maybe it's one that is just a subconscious hidden treasure when finding out through your relationships, partnerships, maybe even through the fact that you may go back and review some quote unquote agreement or contract. And you actually realize that within that particular contract, what you see that there was something that was communicated that you thought at first was not so fair. And then you actually recognize the balance and the fairness in it even more, because now you're recognizing the sudden changes that can actually take place with this, right? And you're like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. I actually see that I have a means to look at the structure of what was written and better institute a means for myself to be secure, all righty, further in getting out of my comfort zone with this particular agreement. And I can see that what I can do is better secure my own mental capacity about the agreement by positioning myself in a way that allows me to expand with what seems like a rough or tough sudden change, but it allows one to be a team player in a way that now, after reviewing the quote unquote fine print of the agreement, you can now mitigate the sense that one may have been feeling about being taken advantage of. All righty. And now that you can get rid of that feeling by going in to actually read the languaging of said agreement or said contract, you can now actually relax and moving forward in what whatever the terms and conditions are that are expected to be performed, so to speak, which will actually put yourself in a position, probably you'll find like, oh, okay, well, actually I have the upper hand type of energy, right? So, but usually there's no such thing as an upper hand when people actually comprehend capacity. So it usually the upper hand is capacity, alrighty? So the preliminary requirements pertaining to any so-called agreement, all right? So that's what I see there for the solar lunar conjunction. We're just finding a better way to secure ourselves and how we relate. Maybe we're finding a hidden treasure in an agreement that we've made that we didn't see before. And it's really allowing us to, structurally institute a means to just secure ourselves in our, in moving outside of our comfort zone, while really that allows us to do a service to ourselves and being able to be comfortable in communicating within ourselves an expansive way of looking at the sudden changes that really gives us value in what we have agreed upon, right? So now we're going to go look at the second. So let's look at the solar ascendant conjunction that we call sunrise, right? That is interesting. Okay, let's take this off and put it back on, right? That's always interessante. All right, we're good on that. Really? Really? It's this, let's see, will it go back? That is interesting. Okay, it finally went back. There we go. Okay, there's the 0. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the 0. All righty. So yes, the solar ascendant conjunction that's taking place for the second. Let me hit that next button there. And it's at approximately 46 minutes after 0500 hours, to be exact, 0500 hours, 46 minutes and 11 seconds. We see the sunrise taking place at 12 degrees Gemini, right? And I know 10 degrees Gemini is a fortunate degree. Let's double check to see what 12 is. A degree of hope realized. Looky, Astro Cookie, 12 degrees. See, Gemini is that here at the top. And this is from my Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore. So 12 degrees Gemini, degree of hope realized. All right. So 12 degrees Gemini, 12 minutes. Look, that's a bit of a palindrome there. See how those numbers are mirroring each other? It's very interesting, right? It equals a 6 in the third sign. So anyway, the sun is there at 12 degrees, right? Hope realized. Looky, Astro Cookie, after that gang of sextiles, right? For the first, right? So now we see, after that plethora of sextiles, rather I say, we see the sun is here at a degree of hope realized. It's 21 minutes afterwards, right? On its way to the 13th degree, and actually within the 13th degree. And the 13th degree is the degree of accidents to wheeled vehicles, right? It's the degree of imitation in acting also. So, maybe be careful out there. Make sure your brakes are taken care of, which is very interesting. If you're going to get your brakes done, get them done now. Get them done before 6:03 p.m. on the 2nd. So 6:03 p.m. Sunday, make sure you're getting your brakes done before then. Make sure you're getting your tires, assessed or changed or whatever, rotated, balanced. That would probably be really great, especially since the sun is within the 13th degree after the hope realized degree here. And we know that the sun rules Leo. So what house cusp is on Leo? Bada bing, bada boomski. The 4th house cusp for this particular sunrise is on Leo. 18 degrees is a Virgo degree. And this is a Piscean degree. So that's very interesting that the sun is at a degree, a signs degree, Pisces, ruling over a signs degree that's on its axis, right? Virgo, right? It's Virgo degree, Pisces degree. And here's where I think what we can really do is have a family reflection moment. be very creative in that family reflection moment, but it's going to be done in an isolated fashion, being able to isolate ourselves in a way where we can actually see how are we doing a service to our loved ones? Where's the health in that particular relationship that we're having, right? And how healthy are the relationships with our loved ones? Also, when it comes to property, you may actually find something that you were looking for and you lost hope about finding it. And now, since the sun is transiting the degree pertaining to hope realized, you actually, oh my God, it was here the whole time. I looked here 5, 6, 7, 50, 11 different times. And I can't believe it was actually right there. Or you get a call and let's say you lost something. Maybe it was a wallet, maybe it was something else where it had a means for you to get contacted. And someone actually contacted you and let you know that they found it or whatever. And you're like, wow, I really thought that was just gone. I was charging that to the game, so to speak. And I just get this call and someone's like, hey, look, it's right here. You can come get it, or I can mail it to you or something like that. I think that energy is what's there, because it's really being able, I think, to unveil something about property, or maybe even come to closure about something, right? And maybe the hope realizes the fact that you've let go of something that you lost, because now the hope being realized is that you can let go and just go and move forward in obtaining something new to replace it. All right. After that, all these transits that we got now are after sunrise. And it's very interesting why I even said, the whole, get your breaks, worked on before 3 minutes after 1800 hours on the second, right? Which is 6:03 p.m. Sunday. All right. And so now what we have next after this particular sunrise, hey man, after this particular sunrise, we have the lunar Martian conjunction taking place at 1800 hours, 3 minutes and 20 seconds to be exact. All right. So, if you got to get your tires changed or fixed, balanced, rotated, or your brakes changed, you need to be doing that either between now, you need to be doing it now, or between now and before, I want to say even before 6 o'clock, maybe even before 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're getting that done, right? And remember, adjust your time zones accordingly. Luna and Mars are conjunct at 25 degrees, Aries, 19 minutes. They are in the 6th house under Mars's dispositorship. So Mars is the dominant one here, right? And of course, Luna is, squaring where it rules, right? Luna is actually ruling over the 9th house here, right? 9th house is at 15 degrees Cancer, right? And so what's very interesting about that, though, however, with this conjunction happening here in the 6th house, what it is when it comes from working from home, all righty? And it's interesting how Chiron is in here, too. Chiron, we know, is the wounded healer. At 22 degrees is a Capricorn degree. 25 degrees is an Arian degree. So that's an Aries degree, while in Aries, that this conjunction is taking place in the 6th house. So I'll say when it comes to our activities in the home, right, this is where we will be idealistic in moving forward in how we are really having our space serve us, right? So, if there's something you would want to see happen better within your space where you are, maybe you're working from home, so to speak, also, because 6th house deals with your everyday, your daily routine, your everyday activities, even your work, so to speak, is 6th house, but it's also health and service. It's restaurants also, the 6th house to a certain degree, right? However, very interestingly to see that Mars is dominating this, I think here is where also there is a means for mothers. There's some activity with mothers, and maybe even making some forward-thinking decisions pertaining to daily routine. Maybe this is where some nurturing decision is made, and that nurturing decision is possibly even a decision pertaining to just being active about a certain way of going about things in one's life, And the way that I see that actually transpiring the most is by, like, let's say it's like a group activity or community activity, and within that community activity or that neighborhood activity, there's an agreement, of the nurturers there, right? The mothers, the fathers, right? To be able to make sure that they're actively looking out for their children's values, right? Sixth house is children's values also. And looking out for those children's values and making sure that they are making the neighborhood a much more comfortable place, right? Because sixth house is fourth from the third, right? And so the third is the neighborhood, right? So the home of the neighborhood would be necessarily like, it would be the comfort, that which, makes the neighborhood comfortable. And so this could be even possibly a community watch, neighborhood watch meeting, where now what's also being seen is more people are being involved, so-called younger beings are being involved also, to make sure that their community is safe for themselves and maybe their younger siblings or younger, cousins and things of that nature. They can all enjoy themselves without the nuisance of something that only you guys know in that particular neighborhood is taking place. So I will also say here too is where people may also enjoy some type of form of, grilled food or cooking out, so to speak. All right, because that grilled fire, direct food on the fire, food, moon, fire, Mars, right? And so maybe this is a situation where people are like, you know what? Even though last Sunday was last Sunday, I want to kind of cook and grill again, and you find the means that, from maybe previous, interactions with family, and that now what you're seeing is, you would like to replicate that experience. So you might find yourself grilling again, also, all for the sake of just being able to have your loved ones around you because you actually enjoyed that time and that interaction. So this is Luna's last aspect that it's making, right? Before it egresses, which is exit Taurus, and then egress is Aries, right? Which is exit Aries before it ingresses Taurus, right? Ingress denotes to enter, right? So Luna will be void of course for 7 hours and 52 minutes, all righty? But while Luna is void of course, we have two more transits that are taking place. We have a Jupiterian Plutonian trine. All righty, Jupiterian Plutonian trine that is taking place, right? And it's approximately 12 minutes after 2000 hours. The Jupiterian Plutonian trine is taking place. So it's happening at, to be exact, 2000 hours, 11 minutes, and 58 seconds. Jupiter's there at 1 degree Gemini, 53 minutes in the sixth house. All righty. And Pluto, of course, is here at 1 degree Aquarius, 53 minutes retrograde in the second. These are 5 houses apart, starting with the second being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses apart. So underlying it has this energy of, like, new love, creativity, maybe even, some type of form of acting, or maybe even, some type of play. That could be it. Even, because 5, I know deals with children, but children comes from copulation, right? Sex, right? So that energy is there also, you know what I'm saying, as far as maybe the practice of obtaining children soon, could be taking place. However, and it's interesting because death and rebirth is a Plutonian key term here, and sudden changes, right? Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, values, right? Second house. However, Saturn is ruling over this, and Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius, where Uranus is the contemporary or modern ruler for Aquarius also. However, with that being said, and so obviously Pluto's under Saturn's dispositorship here in the third, and Jupiter is under Venus's dispositorship, of course, here in the seventh. So what we're actually seeing here just for that trine alone, there's this perfect harmony in really expanding one's power. A expansive transformation or transformational growth, right? And so ones may actually experience that they are finding themselves being able to take on their health in a way to really change their values. So this is where you could really expand your means to exercise. Maybe you're going on walks. Maybe you're finding a way to make the sudden changes in your health by really expanding the way you actually move about your neighborhood. Maybe you're finding yourself running or walking, as I said, even with the Mercury there pertaining to walking. Um, or however, it's funny because 29 degrees Taurus also is an acting degree also. Okay, so you may get your act together by doing everything to put yourself in the mindset of, health. And with that health, there's this opportunity to actually transform your values. And there's this sudden change that will take place because you'll do this internalized reflection, because retrograde also gives a reflectionary energy. And now you have made a commitment, alrighty, to a particular health regimen, it being in combination with not only exercise but also food. Alrighty, so you're making this commitment because you would like to see yourself have this bodily transformation, which will reflect the values that you are establishing within one's own mind. So, with that being said, you're going to be able to discipline, right? Discipline your spirit by making sure you're putting in that daily routine of work, so to speak. Like I told you, I am my brother. Shout out to Spartacus. We're doing this whole keep each other accountable thing as far as different repetitions and starting out with push-ups or whatever. So he's like, I'm up 131. Okay, cool. I'm at 25. I'm gonna catch up, bro. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up. That's kind of an energy pertaining to the Jupiter trine Pluto energy. All right. And then Venus, ruling from 12 degrees. It's funny because Venus is on its way to being in conjunction with the sun. What date does Venus conjunct the sun? Okay, it's happening on the 4th, at about 33 minutes after 1100 hours. So 11:33 anti-meridian Eastern. So that's just 27 minutes before noon on the 4th, we'll see a solar Venusian conjunction. So that's why I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's brewing. They're technically partile by degree, but an exact partile for me would be not just the degree, but also the minutes also. And that's taking place as I said at 11:33 anti-meridian Eastern on the 4th. Anyway, moving forward. Yes, Jupiter and Pluto, all right, having their trine there. So this is where also I think, there will be some knowledge that you'll be able to have. I think you'll have an epiphany, all right. There will be some people who will be able to step into a new comfort zone because there may be some particular information or knowledge that they may seen in one light or one aspect previously. However, by tomorrow and after tomorrow, there will be a certain light bulb that'll click and they'll be able to see like, oh, I can further see, and expand on this, and then it'll transform their mind in a way. It'll be a bit of a growth in repentance, not from the negative, like, oh, I got to change my mind and repent because I was wrong. But no, a growth in repentance where it's like now they can, expound upon, alrighty, a concept that they've already had, but now they can graduate even further into more information, alrighty, as far as that particular principle is concerned. And now they have now added more angles in which to see it and to be able to explain it, all right? Last but not least, for the second, we have a Mercurial Neptunian sextile, right? So Mercury and Neptune half a trine, right? Sextile. And that's taking place approximately 3 minutes before 0000 hours. To be exact, it's 2300 hours, 57 minutes, and 4 seconds. C. Thomas says, peace, I'm almost getting some time to study more astrology from a beginner's aspect. Should I trust websites with the birth information in order to obtain my birth chart in pizza store before 7? And, and this girl, her brother Hasan, I gave her his reference. You're hilarious. So she's like, oh shit, let me hurry up and eat this pizza with this crust on it that's made from this grain before 7:35 and then fast. That's great though. That's great. That's great, my brother Corey. That tickles me. That's great. When I first started out, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at website resources, right? It's just as I grew in it, and you have access to Prophet Noble Drali University. Also, there's other resources in there. But yeah, I mean, you can, astro.com was the first one that I ever used. It's a few of them that I use. And then you guys also know I have quite a few softwares, all right, that I utilize, right? So yeah, Mother Sahar, that's funny, right? It's super funny, right? It's like, hold up, hold on. And if that's somebody else hearing what I said through your device, then yeah, that's meant for them to hear. They probably like, hold on, I'm gonna check out what that Ekadashi fast is about. So that's great, right? All right. However, moving forward though, no, that's great. C. Thomas, that's great, bro. Right. So with that being said, how are we looking at this Mercury sextile Neptune, this Mercurial Neptunian sextile? We see Mercury. It's here 29 degrees Taurus, 42 minutes. And like I said, I think that's a famous actor's degree too. Let's look to our Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore. See, look, 29 degrees Taurus, right? Because what's before Gemini? Taurus. So I know this is Taurus, especially if I scroll down so you guys can see the top there. Boom shakalaka at the top, Taurus, right? So 29 degrees. Yep. Degree of fate, favored by fortune, a dramatic area, a famous actor's degree, right? So that's where Mercury is right now. And this, I think, technically will be Mercury's last aspect before it's void, of course. Because remember, I told you on the 3rd is when the moon enters Taurus and Mercury enters Gemini. Moon is exalted in Taurus. Mercury is dominant in Gemini, as well as it's dominant in Virgo. But, just to see that happening, these are some tremendous things that are happening here, especially with Mars still dominant in Aries too. This is just interesting to see, right? All right, so in moving forward, right, just with that, knowing that that's what's happening. And then we know Neptune's at 29 degrees, 42 minutes in Pisces. So, these are also known as anaretic degrees. They're critical degrees, right? And so with famous actor's degree, and then this is a fatalistic degree in Pisces. So I'm not saying that there's going to be some actor that transitions, right? I know that these are 3 houses apart, the 2nd house and the 4th house, the 3 houses apart. Venus in the 4th is ruling over the 4th, and Neptune is actually ruling over its own 2nd house, but it's assisting Jupiter, who's under Venus's dispositorship, to rule over this also. So it looks like Venus and Neptune kind of have this final dispositorship. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So here's where I think the beauty in this sextile is that we can actually experience not a fatalistic degree is like, oh, somebody's dying. What we can actually have happen here is, the values that we have instituted in ourselves, alrighty, especially when it comes to our spiritual discipline, right? This is where what we can be able to do is better communicate in expounding upon, or really expanding or finding some growth, to not overindulge, alrighty, in some type of property that we may have, right, or own, some type of possession that we may have, instead of overindulging in. This probably be a means for us to share, to learn how to share, right? So maybe there is a sibling, or maybe something within your neighborhood you find that, if you gave it away, this may be a part of that whole making room energy in one's life, so that you can actually be able to let go of something and grasp another. However, ultimately, if I just looked at the regular old keywords, Mercury being communication, sextile being opportunity, Neptune being sharing. So in a shared communication or a growth for sharing communication, this is where you can actually possess a moment or take charge of a moment and really sharing your values and really allowing others to kind of seek refuge in your words. All righty, there may be someone that you can speak to, that, and they may find that what you say is something that really speaks to their spirit, right? For example, it's interesting I'm even saying that with what Brother Corey is saying in the chat here. C. Thomas, right, is saying here in the chat here about someone else actually hearing, what was said from his device. That's kind of that same energy, right? And what can happen now is they can better isolate themselves, probably even go into a mode of meditation, so that they can be able to be comfortable without any outside influence or opinion of anyone else to, judge whatever decision that they're making to better institute what is viable for themselves. Also, here, you may want to go for a walk, right? You may want to go for a walk by yourself, clear your mind, clear your head. And while you're walking, because this is one of my things I like to do, it's very interesting. It's really wild. I admitted this to my beloved mother, mistress, consort. I was like, you know what? I like reading while I'm walking. You know what I mean? Like, say if I have a book and I'm walking, of course, I'm not just blind. I'm paying attention when I'm at a corner or if I have a crosswalk or whatever. But I don't mind, for some reason, when I walk and I'm reading, like, literal book, like, it doesn't seem like I'm walking. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably something that you may find interesting that you like to do. Also, questions, comments, and/or suggestions going once, because that concludes our portion pertaining to our 7-day travel medical astro weather report. I may see you all next day, which is Sunday, to go in on the 3rd, where I'll discuss that lunar ingress into Taurus, that mercurial ingress into Gemini, and then lunar squares. I think that's Pluto squaring, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Pluto? Yeah, it's squaring Pluto. Lunar square Pluto. All right. So let me stop the screen share here. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. All righty. Again, I am Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey. If this is your first time hearing me, right? You guys can reach out to me for a mirror AstroLiteracy session on Instagram at 7HealStar. All right, it's number 7, HealStar. Usually people, when they hear 7HealStar, I guess they think I have like a Southerner's accent and I'm saying Hill when I say heal. No, I'm actually saying heal, like healing, the root in the word health or healthy, Heal. I am not saying heal like Hill, all right? So that's how that goes. So with that being said, all right, you can reach out to me via the DM, 7HealStar, right, on IG. Also, like I said, in the description, there will be the Google Voice number. And again, giving you my number, but don't hit me on no dumb shit. Just keep it a band with you, right? That's all we're, doing is helping people to comprehend their astrology for the purpose. Because I really think this is how you can solve issues in the hood, honestly. Because the reason why I got into astrology is because I really think you can help people reacclimate into society. And there's a lot near the Baltimore Corporation where, they take advantage of people's ignorance and take advantage of their Social Security, as they call it, even though it's not theirs because they don't owe a debt to the United States, because that's the only one who can, who can be assigned Social Security number under 20 CFR 422.104. We know, for those of us that are part of the jurisprudence gem at Lawful Living, we know that U denotes one who owes a debt to the United States. And so, you have some of these reacclimation programs where people coming from these correctional facilities and they go through these reacclimation programs that some may know as halfway houses. And these programs are basically like foster care, taking the finances that's generated from these people using these 9-digit numbers. And if you really want these people to really reacclimate back into society and really be able to get their life together if they choose that they really want to, I think the best way to do it is make sure that they can do some serious self-reflection. And I think the best introduction to self-reflection is astrology without all the bullshit. Like, I remember I met one young lady at a astrology workshop, and she said she learned astrology through the House of Ruth. She had to actually deal with, going through it, dealing with some form of abuse, but she learned from, I think, one of the people who worked there, who was volunteering to work for the House of Ruth to help with the young women there, and taught astrology, which said it changed her life. You know what I'm saying? And then she never looked back. It really helped her out, really made her comprehend and understand why she even experienced what she experienced to even get her to the House of Ruth where she met that lady or whatever. And that was just more of a testimony of this is something that can really help people reacclimate. So if it's something that can help people reacclimate back into society, quote unquote, then imagine if we had these things like we did anciently from the jump. Every family had an astrologer. I don't know why we're fucking around like this isn't true. Everyone had an astrologer. However, what happened over the last 300 years, 400 years or so, and really we already know, it wasn't even a full 400 years. Most people are like, oh, 400 years of slavery. I call bullshit, right? Because we already know you're not having no half-naked cargo on a ship when you can't go fishing right now on a boat during the nighttime in the summer without a sweater. So we already know that narrative of somebody coming on some ships, they half naked on a 3-month trip. That's bullshit. We know that. The actual ship that was used was the shipment documenting in so-called courthouses. It was just documents. We're going to write these people into this position. We're going to say that they are obligated under this particular statute or this particular act or statute at large. And that's what the bureaucratized slavery actually is for those that have the eyes to see and ears to hear. However, with that being said, that's what we did. We kept an astrologer. Why? Because if you think astrology is bullshit, then you wouldn't eat and you wouldn't be here. Because of the moon is why you're here, right? That controls the menstrual cycle. And because of the moon is how you know when to plant. If you don't think that's true, and I don't want you to believe anything I'm saying anyway. I'm just going to direct you to go to your local convenience store. I don't know if it's 7-Eleven, Royal Farms, Cumberland's, Quick Trip, whatever, Circle K. Go to whatever convenience store, those types of so-called convenience stores. See if you can find a farmer's almanac. It's probably about eight notes for a farmer's almanac. And I guarantee you'll see that there are quote unquote good Christian farmers who are utilizing astrology and astronomy to plant their crops and to breed their animals. They're not breeding animals unless the moon's in Scorpio. They're not cutting their hair to promote growth unless the moon's in Libra. They're not cutting their hair to demote growth unless the moon's in Taurus. This is what people do. Hey, they're not going to plant seeds for something that bears fruit above ground unless the moon is in between its new moon and full moon phase. And if they want to grow their root vegetables or things that bear fruit underground, they're going to plant that between the full moon and the new moon phase. And these are good Christian farmers, right? Come on, man. So you guys, we got to get back to who we actually are. We got to be ourselves. And then we can stop being victims. If we just get back to the astrology and cosmology and the jurisprudence, then we can begin really kicking these people's asses that misapply statutes and make a lot of people's lives living hells out there because they don't know either. However, when you're on the clock and you're supposed to know, then there's really no excuse, isn't it? Because you're in the capacity of one who has to know, and others that you're misapplying statutes to are in the capacity to not be fucked with unfairly as it's being done. All right. So Mother Sahar says, sincere gratitude, Brother Hasan. Peace and love to you all. And Mother Sahar says, indeed. Guys, I love you all. Thank you for joining me, right? Again, share this out to your loved ones. Make sure you guys hit the like and the subscribe, hit like, comment too if you come and check this later. Share it out to your loved ones. This is where I say to you all, make sure you rest and recharge well when you do so. Make sure you also eat great. And remember, Ekadashi is from 7:35 p.m. today until 5:11 p.m. tomorrow, right? So do your best to abstain from grain. Eat no grain during that time, right? And maybe you got to just take your time to read your labels, right? Or you go, dang, is this a grain? Hey, Google, is this a grain? And then you can find yourself making this a moment to learn also, all right, while observing the Ekadashi fast, right? All right, so this is where I say I love you all. Namaste. You know what? Let me make sure I can come back and turn this thing off. Namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam.